The classification problem is extensively studied in statistics and machine learning. So actually, what is classification? Classification is separating of objects or ordering of objects into classes. So in classification, we know that the classes are predefined and we are having a set of training samples, and these samples are used for building the models. Then we have to classify a new object. Each new object is then assigned one of the classes using this model. There are large number of applications for classification like credit approval, treatment effectiveness analysis, etc. Now this classification, some of the textbooks are using the term a priori classification because we know the class labels early or it is predefined. Because of that, this term is also used for classification, a priori classification. The classification is based on the training samples with class labels. We know that this is a supervised learning technique, and new data is classified based on the model. The model is developed using the training data, and new data is classified based on this model. So each object has a number of attributes. In regression, we studied that there are independent attributes and dependent attributes. Similarly, in classification also there are dependent attributes as well as independent attribute. One special attribute is a class label. This attribute is called as the output attribute or the dependent attribute. And value for this dependent attribute is values known for the training sample but not for others. So in the case of training sample, the value of the class label is available. Other attributes are independent attributes. These attributes can be numerical. For example, income, salary, etc. All these are numerical values. And there are categorical values. Categorical values means character values. For example, course grade. This is a categorical value. And this categorical value can be ordered or unordered. For example, course grade is ordered. Then if you take gender is male and female. The values are male and female. That is an unordered attribute. So there are independent attributes, and in these attributes can be numerical or categorical. Categorical attributes can be ordered or unordered. Then we studied about classification. This is also known as classification clustering. Clustering is also a form of separating or ordering objects, but this clustering is unsupervised. It is also known as posteriori classification because the class labels are not known. No training data with the non-class labels available. Class labels are not included in the case of clustering or posteriori classification. So classes may not be known a priori. The classes are identified after running the algorithm. We saw an example of k-means clustering algorithm where we classified a number of data sets. So the classes are identified only after running the algorithm. This is an unsupervised learning technique. So classification and regression are the prediction techniques. Classification is a prediction technique. Given the values of the independent attributes, the class can be predicted. Another prediction technique is regression. Classification is used to predict categorical values, while regression is used to predict continuous or ordered values or numeric values. So in classification, there are two phases: model construction phase or training phase and the testing phase. In the training phase, each training sample belongs to a predefined class given by the class label attribute, and using the training data, we are creating the model in the training phase. So that phase is known as the model construction phase. And the next phase is the testing and usage phase. In the testing phase, we can find out, we are finding the accuracy of the model, then we can classify each object using the model. Test object is not used for training, that such objects can be classified in training in the testing phase, after the testing phase. So there are different quality evaluation measures we can use in classification. You have studied about precision, recall, similarly predictive accuracy, efficiency or speed. We can check the speed and efficiency of the model, the robustness of the model in handling noise or missing values, then scalability, how the model can handle large disk resident data, efficiency of the model in handling large disk resident data, interpretability. Understanding and interpretability means how we can understand and get an insight about the model. Then goodness of rules. All these are evaluation measures for evaluating a model. So in this class, we will discuss about decision trees. We are trying to find out a decision tree from the training data. Decision tree is one of the classification technique. It is a popular classification method. We are building a tree-like structure. So in the tree, there is an internal node. The internal node denotes a question or test on the value of an independent attribute. And each branch represents the outcome of the test. And each leaf represents the class. So each object has a number of independent attributes and dependent attributes. So the last, the internal node represents dependent attributes, independent attributes, and the last leaf node contains a dependent attribute or the class label. So the term tree is you studied already tree in the data structures. The tree refers to the concept of tree in the graph theory. Tree is defined as an undirected graph in which any two vertices are connected by exactly one path. So the convention of graph theory can be used in decision tree also. So it is a graph theoretical tree. Actually, decision tree is a graph theoretical tree. So all terminology related to graph theoretical tree can be applied in decision tree also. That means there are nodes or vertices, then leaf nodes, internal nodes, root node, etc. This is a tree structure, root node, internal node, and leaf node. So the various elements of the classification tree. Nodes in the classification tree are identified by feature names. For you, the values included in the nodes of the tree are the feature names of the given data. And the branches in the tree are identified by values of the feature. And the leaf nodes are identified by class labels. So there are three aspects in a decision tree. One is the nodes. Nodes in the classification tree are identified by feature names in the training data. And the branches are identified by the values of the features. And the leaf nodes are identified by the class labels. So there are two types of decision trees, classification trees and regression trees. In classification tree, leaves represent class labels and branches represent conjunction of features. And the classification tree contains only discrete values. Whereas the regression tree, that is also similar to the classification tree, except that it can take continuous values or real numbers. Now, for this training data, you have developed a classifier based on Bayes' theorem. You have already done the problem as homework. Based on this training data, you have developed a classification model that is based on the Bayes' theorem. Now, from the same training data, we can develop or design a decision tree. So the decision tree will be like this. In the root node, you can see that feature age is displayed, and the branches are the values of the attribute or the feature. The values are for age, the values are less than or equal to 30, 30 to 40, and greater than 40. And for each branch, then subsequent attributes When it is less than 30, the next feature selected is student. The student attribute values are no or yes. And finally, when the student is no, the last value, no, that represents class label. So distinguish between the two no's. Student value is the feature value student. If the student feature value is no, you will get no as the class label. And if the student feature value is yes, you will get yes as the class label. Now, if the age is greater than 40, then we are reaching the node credit rating. Credit rating can be excellent or fair. If it is excellent, this particular portion, that is brand credit rating, this is the value of credit rating, that is excellent or fair. If it is excellent, the leaf node is no. That means the class label is no. Otherwise, the class label is yes. So this is the decision tree created from the training data, this particular training data. After creating the decision tree, we can classify an object without the new object. That means in the new object, there will be no class label. So how we will classify? We will find out the path from the root node to the leaf node. That determines the class label of the attribute. Suppose if the path is path taken by the new object is age less than 30, and if the student value is no, then he will get the class label as no. So the path from the root node determines the class label of the new object. So how to classify using a decision tree? To classify an object, the appropriate attribute value is used at each node, starting from the root node, to determine the branch taken. So the path found by test at each node leads to a leaf node, which is the class the model believes the object belongs to. So based on the path taken by the object, attribute values of the object, you will get a path from the root node to the leaf node, and the value of the leaf node determines the class label of the new object. This is how, after creating the model of decision tree, we are classifying the object. So the path determines the class label. Decision tree is an attractive technique, and it is easy to understand. And we can represent the rules, the decision tree, in the form of rules, if then else rules. For example, if student has GPA greater than 3 and class attendance greater than 90%, then student is likely to get D. So the tree, decision tree can be converted to if then else rules also. This is the basic algorithm. We are given the training data set. If there are continuous attributes, we have to discretize such attributes. The root node, let the root node contain S, or we can assume that all the attributes are in the root node. Then we will split the attributes. If all object in S belongs to the same class, then we can stop. Otherwise, we have to split the next leaf node by selecting an attribute A from the independent attributes that best divides or splits objects in the node into subsets and create the decision tree. So in the decision tree creation, we are for finding out the objects or features to be placed in each level. So if all the objects belong to the same class, then only one root node. Then otherwise we have to select the next best attribute which can be placed in the next level. So our objective is to find the best attribute that can be placed in the next level. So that attribute is, suppose if that attribute is A, then we can split the node according to the values of A. Then we can stop the steps if the following conditions are met. That is, data in each subset belong to the single class, and there are no remaining attributes on which the sample may be further divided. If we meet any of these conditions, we can stop the process. So the decision tree consists of root node, internal nodes, and leaf node. So the building of the tree starts with the root node, then splitting the data into 2 or more children nodes, and splitting them in lower level nodes and so on until the process is complete. The method uses induction based on the training data. We can use some more examples in this, how to find decision tree using the training data. Suppose this is the data, training data. This data we used in Bayesian classification. Now we are trying to find out a decision tree, how we can form a decision tree based on this data. There are 5 attributes. The 5 attributes are symptoms, and the last attribute is the diagnosis. The last attribute is the class label. Diagnosis is the class label. All attributes are categorical. We wish to predict the diagnosis of the class. Now, when we consider each attribute, we want to find out which attribute can be placed in the root node and in the subsequent levels. Here we are considering sore throat, whether sore throat is a determining factor for class label diagnosis. When you consider match the values, we can find that there is no match between the sore throat and class label. For sore throat, the class label values are no and yes, but for diagnosis there are 3 values and there is no correspondence, no one-to-one correspondence. It is sore throat is not predicting diagnosis. Directly it is not predicting diagnosis. Now when we consider next symptom, fever. Fever is also not a predicting factor for the class label diagnosis. Fever is better because when we consider the class case of yes, all the values are having the class label cold. So it is better than the previous attribute. So fever is better in predicting the class label. When you take swollen glands, this is also somewhat a good attribute because when you take the value yes, all the values of the class label diagnosis are strep throat. When you try congestion, when you take congestion, there is no relation between congestion and the diagnosis. Similarly, when you take headache, this is also a not good attribute in predicting the class label. And when you consider this example, in this case, the data is given, the name, different features are gives birth, aquatic, aerial animal, has legs. So based on these features, we are classifying the object as mammal, reptile, fish, amphibian, and bird. Based on whether it gives birth, whether it is an aquatic animal or an aerial animal and has legs. So when we consider this data, the data specify features of certain vertebrates and the class to which they belong. There are 4 features: gives birth, aquatic, aerial animal, and has legs. And there are 5 class labels, namely amphibian, bird, fish, mammal, and reptile. Now, in this case, we can decide the class label. We split the data based on gives birth. Since there are only 2 possible values for this feature, we have 2 subsets. One subset consisting of the examples for which the value of gives birth is yes, and another subset which with the value no. When we divide like this, you will get the records like this. In this table, we are including all the records having the feature value gives birth yes. Similarly, in this table, we are including all the records with the class label gives birth value is equal to no. So when we divide like this, we can create a table with create a decision tree with the root node gives birth. The 2 values are yes, no. Then again we are dividing the values based on aquatic, the feature aquatic. So when we continue like this, we will get a tree of this form. Root node is gives birth. Then based on gives birth, it is divided into 2 tables, subtables, yes and no. And then further we are dividing taking the feature aquatic and considering the all those values with the aquatic S. So when you take that, you can find that only there is one record, and that record belongs to the class fish. So we can finalize that attribute, that case. So the last leaf node becomes fish. When you take the value of aquatic no, you can find that there are, you can take Arial as the second attribute, and Arial, the values are yes or no. When you take the subparts, you can find that the yes value belongs to the class bird, and the no part belongs to the bird, belongs to the class mammal. So like that, this we can find a decision tree for the data. And we can find the if-then rules also, similar to equivalent to that decision tree. That is, if give birth is equal to yes, then if aquatic is equal to yes, then the return class as fish. Else if Arial is equal to yes, then return the class as bird, or else return class as mammal. Like that we can write if-then else rules equivalent to the decision tree form. Actually, this approach is not very easy. This approach does not work if there are many attributes and large training set. So we need an algorithm to select an attribute. Here we are trying to find out the attributes which can be placed in the each level. We want to find out the attribute which can be placed in the root node, then in the next level, then in the next level, and so on. So this is what we are trying to do. When we use approach like this, just taking each attribute and analyzing and comparing it with the class labels, it is very difficult for us to create decision tree if the training data set is very large. So we need some algorithm to select an attribute. So this algorithm that best discriminate among the target classes as a splitting attribute. We can find out the best split attribute using this algorithm. So, there are different criteria or measures for finding the best attributes. So, what is the important thing we are here we are doing is the order in which the features are selected. How we can order the features. The best feature will be placed in the root node. Next level, we will find out features and place in the subsequent levels. So the order in which features are selected, that is the important factor in this case. The classification tree depends on the order in which features are selected for partitioning the data. In the case of decision tree, we can stop when these conditions are met. That is, all the examples are in the same class, or there are no remaining features to distinguish among the examples, and the tree has grown to a predefined limit. If any of these conditions are met, we can stop. That means all the examples should be in the same class. Or the second condition is that there are no remaining features to distinguish among the examples, and sometimes we will be given a predefined size, and the tree has grown to a predefined size. In that case also we can stop. So I told you that we have to find out measures for finding the quality of the attributes or features, so that they can be placed in the first level, second level, and so on. So there are feature selection measures. Such measures are known as the feature selection measures. If a dataset consists of any attributes, then deciding which attribute is to be placed at the root or at different levels of the internal node, that is the main problem in the decision tree, and it is a complicated problem. We cannot just randomly select any node and put it in the root. So if you do that, we will get a tree. That tree will be with a very low accuracy. Sometimes we may not be able to form such trees also. So the most important problem in implementing the decision tree is deciding which features are to be considered as a root node and at each level. So this is our main problem, deciding which features are to be considered as the root node and at each level. There are several methods developed to assign numerical values to the features so that they can be placed in the respective levels. or relative importance can be given to various features, and based on this importance we can select the features. This features, there are different feature selection measures. One is known as the information gain and the other one is known as Gini index. Two measures mainly used is information gain and Gini index. So in this class we are going to discuss about information gain. So information, or I told you that information gain is one of the measure. Information or entropy of a particular event. Consider a segment S of data set having C number of class labels. Let Pi denote the portion of examples in S having the ith class label. Then we can define entropy as entropy S is equal to sigma I is 1 to n, 1 to C minus Pi log 2 to the base Pi. That means if there are n events and if the probability of an event is Pi, then we can say that the entropy is sigma I is equal to 1 to C Pi log 2 to the base Pi. So suppose we have a data segment and there is only two classes, yes and no. Then we can say that probability is P and 1 minus P. So in that case, entropy S is equal to minus P log 2 to the base P to the base 2 minus 1 minus P log 1 minus P to the base 2. Now we can consider an example in which we can apply this formula. So this is the data set. In this data set, there are 10 items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the class labels are mammal, reptile, fish, amphibian, bird. Now when we consider the class label mammal, there are two objects with the class label mammal. Reptile, the number of objects having the class label reptile is 1 and bird is 2, fish 1, amphibian 3. So based on this, we can find out the entropy value. So the number of examples for that particular data, we are going to find out the entropy value. For that, we should identify the class label. Number of examples with class label amphibian is 3. Number of examples with class label bird is 2. Number of examples with class label fish is 2. Number of examples with class label mammal is 2. Number of examples with class label reptile is 1. So we can find that there are total of 10 records, or total number of examples is 10. So we are going to find out the entropy value of this particular training data or group of data. So entropy S is for all class X minus Px log 2 to the base Px. So the entropy is minus P amphibian log 2 to the base amphi minus P bird log 2 to the base P bird minus P fish log 2 to the base P fish minus P mammal log 2 to the base P mammal minus P reptile log 2 to the base P reptile. So it is minus 3 by 10 log 2 to the base 3 by 10 minus 2 by 10 log 2 to the base 2 by 10. Then again minus 2 by 10 log 2 to the base 2 by 10 minus 2 by 10 log 2 to the base 2 by 10 and minus 1 by 10 log 2 to the base 1 by 10. Now you can understand how to find out the value of entropy for a particular data set.